So from your view, as chair of the committee, are we going to shut down this weekend?
I think there's a very good chance of it at this point. The Senate, I think, has done our job. We are providing a broad, wide, well-lit off-ramp for Speaker McCarthy to get off his careening path to a shutdown. As was said earlier on your show, a shutdown looking for a reason. And all he has to do is take that path and we can avoid a shutdown. Instead, he's still working on appropriations bills that have nothing to do with the imminent shutdown. And we'd have more time to argue with him about appropriations through November 17th if he would simply take up this bipartisan continuing resolution measure. He sees it coming. He knows what it looks like. It passed the Senate 77-19. It was a huge bipartisan vote. So he has every reason and every availability right now for an off-ramp and an exit from the extremists' desire, I guess, to force a shutdown.
In this continuing resolution in the Senate, there is Ukraine funding, and we know that Senator Ron Paul really wants to make this process very long and drawn out because of that. How much do you think that will impact when you can vote, and is there any potential, actually, that he could kill it?
No potential of killing it. There is potential for creating delay, and I think he needs to work with, and I'm sure is working with, his Republican caucus to see if he single-handedly wants to provoke a shutdown to make a point, or whether he's willing to let us vote in time so that Speaker McCarthy gets our measure in time so that he can avoid a shutdown. I suspect that Leader McConnell would like to get this over to Speaker McCarthy in time so that there are not Senate fingerprints of any kind on the MAGA shutdown.
Does Leader McConnell, realizing he's in the other party, Senator, trust Kevin McCarthy?
I couldn't read his mind on that subject. I think if you're looking just as a rational observer at how Speaker McCarthy is flailing around and throwing various different things against the wall. You mentioned earlier the border security issue. They've suddenly turned this into a border security issue, but their proposal is dramatic cuts to border security. So there's a major internal conversation that House Republicans have to have with themselves about whether this is a huge border security cut that they want or whether they want some huge border security program. But all of that, again, doesn't bear on this weekend's shutdown. The only measure that will solve that is the Senate bill that is headed over there and that he can count on and that he can see and prepare for and avoid a shutdown if he wants. As I said, it is a really wide, brightly lit off-ramp for the Republicans in the House.
I want to ask you about your colleague, Senator Bob Menendez. I know your inclination is to let the judicial process, you want to see that through, especially with your past experience. But you're also one of the strongest critics when it comes to dark money. You're going to be giving a speech on it this evening at 6:30 p.m. on the Senate floor. And Senator Menendez, the allegations is that he took hundreds of thousands of dollars from the Egyptian, with links to the Egyptian government, gold bars, a Mercedes-Benz. Is that a form of dark money?
I don't think so. It's not what we would ordinarily consider to be dark money. Dark money is dark money that flows through legal channels into the political system, and what's illicit about it or wrong about it is that you can't identify who the source is. The allegations in the Menendez case are of outright personal bribery, and that's a very different thing than the semi-legitimized, I guess I'd call it, flow of dark money into our elections and into the mess that is surrounding the Supreme Court and its ethics scandals.
I guess to your point, he is being accused of some pretty serious crimes, including bribery, Senator. Should he not resign?
You know, it's harsh stuff. I've been in the position of the U.S. attorney who has brought the charges. I've done high-profile public corruption cases, and my strong inclination is to let the course of justice be pursued and stay out of it. I was always, as a U.S. attorney, very skeptical of legislators trying to intrude into a case in any fashion. And I guess I carry a little bit of that still with me.
Mr. Chairman, you've been leading the push in the Senate to get Credit Suisse to fully investigate allegations that it held accounts not only during but after World War II, accounts for Nazis. I wonder if the bank has been forthcoming since the takeover by UBS. What are the next steps here?
Yeah, I think the bank actually has been fairly forthcoming. Senator Grassley, my ranking member, and I have been working together. We produced a bipartisan subpoena out of the Budget Committee to force Credit Suisse to produce more information, and in the wake of that, to reopen its own internal investigations. That will be concluded, I suspect, in a matter of weeks. We'll have a report from them, and we'll see what further steps we think are appropriate. But I do think that the bipartisan subpoena out of the Budget Committee broke loose a lot of further investigative activity. That will produce further information, and we'll review it when it comes in. Overall, I think Credit Suisse has been responsive to our concerns.
What does this mean for the bank once the investigation is concluded? Pay compensation or penalties? What would you like to see?
Well, I think I'll hold off on what remedies we might want to pursue until we're concluded with the investigative part. Again, a bit of old prosecutor's bias coming through. Don't ask for your remedy until you've proven your case.